The recording of the webinar didn't work, so I thought I'd make a quick video for you about match and index, or index and match, which is a great replacement for vLookup. So vLookup has some problems which we will talk about, and match and index really kind of solves those problems for you. So let's just go to my spreadsheet here. So this has come out of Course Catalogue. You can see I've got a whole bunch of information here. What we're going to be looking at in particular is looking from the course ID, what is the long title, and some other stuff too as well. So we're going to have a look at things such as the course sizes, planned size and actual size, estimated total enrolment, and those sorts of things. Okay. Alright, so this is quite a big data set and from a real university system. So if I was doing a vLookup, I could come in here, let me just get rid of that, and I could say, right, I'm looking for the title of this particular course here. So I could come in here and go equals vLookup, and I say lookup value, I want you to look up that, and I'm going to say where are we going to go and look. So I'm going to go over back to Course Catalogue, and I'm going to grab this bit here. Oh no, I'm not. Haha. Remember with a vLookup, you've got to have the thing you're looking up has to be in the first column. That's the first problem. Index and match sorts that for us. But let me just grab all of that information and put a comma at the end of that. And the next thing I know is the column index. So what I need to do now is I need to find which column index that is. So how many columns across is that piece of information I'm looking for. So I have to count from course ID because that's my first column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Long title is 7. So I can type a 7 in there. And I need that to be an exact match. And I can close my brackets and hit enter. So there you go. Course 3826 is Introductory Accounting 1. Okay, so that was a little bit difficult. You know, I had to count the number of columns. When I come into default size, it's going to get quite difficult because that's like it's quite a few columns across, and you know, me counting them is kind of boring. Whoops. Also, course catalogue, the thing I'm looking at for the course ID has to be the first column of the thing I'm looking for. Now sometimes when you want to look things up, it might be to the left of the thing you're trying to look up rather than to the right. So I couldn't use a vLookup to go from the title to actually look up the course ID with the way my data is set up. I could if I use index and match. Now if I'm using vLookup and I add extra columns into my data here, that could also break things. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to look at index and match. We're going to start with match and then we're going to do index. Okay. But before I do that, I have, of course, named my ranges. Oh, you people know how I love to name my ranges. It's really important that you do. So the first thing that I've named, here's my name box. You can see all of the things that I've named. So I have just named the entire data range, as course cat. I have named the column titles, so that's all of the titles along here because I'm going to need that. Okay, I have named a few of the columns, so the course ID, I've named that as course ID, and I've got default size, so that's this default size section over here. What else have I named? Estimated enrolments, that's something I'm also wanting to look up, and the long titles, that's another thing I'm looking up. Okay. Alright, naming your ranges, don't forget, is as easy as I can just highlight something and I can come in here, and that's campus. So I can just type campus and then hit enter, and now campus is available in one of my named ranges. So that's how easy that is. It just makes things easier to look at. As you can see, this thing here is quite difficult to tell what that is. And column 7, who knows what that means? So let's have a look at index and match. So I'm going to break this down for you. We're going to start off by doing the matches and then do the index. So with match, what I can do is I can answer this question here and this question here. So which row is A2 in? Okay. So I'm going to build up with my matches, and I'm going to use index because an index will say, hey, go look in this row and in this column and tell me what it says. That's essentially what index is going to do. But first of all, I need to know where I want it to look, and that's what I use match for. So which row is A2 in? So which row am I going to find 3826 in? So let's get started. We go equals match. Okay. So it's going, what's the lookup value? So match is saying, what do you want me to look up? And and I'm saying please look this up. Okay, so look up the value of A2. Look up array. So where do you want me to look up? Where is it that you want me to go looking for that? And I want it to go looking for that within course ID, within the column course ID. So I can just start typing course ID, there it is, because that's my named range, remember? And then the match type I'm after is an exact match. Okay, and I close my brackets on that. Alright, so 3826 is in row 14 of the course ID column. Alright. Now I'm saying which column is the long title in, because remember what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to look for this course ID and give me the long title. So what I want to know is which column is long title in. So I'm going to come in here, and again I'm going to go equals match. Okay, and I'm going to say what is the lookup value? Well, I want it to look up long title for me. Where do I want to look at for that? Well, remember, again, I'm just going to hit F3 to open up my paste name box, or you can just start typing it if you can remember what you've called things. But this one I called column titles. There we go. So I called that column titles. Okay. And then what is the match type? It is an exact match, please. Okay. So I've just figured out that the information I'm after, which is long title, it needs to go and look for this in row 14, and it needs to look for this in column 11. So now I can bring them together, and for this I use index. Okay, so index. Now index has two different ones, but we're going to use the top one here. So what's the array, what's the row number, and what's the column number? So the array is that entire course catalogue. Okay, so that's the whole. I want you to look through the whole of that worksheet. The whole of that named array that I created, which I call course cat, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there it is. And within course cat, I want you to find this row and then tell me what's in this column. Okay? There you go. So, what is the long title of A2 is Introductory Accounting. Alright, so I said to index, please go and look in the entire dataset course catalogue. Tell me, go look in row 14, look in column 11, what's it say? And it says Introductory Accounting. Okay, so that is your bones. Let's put it together, shall we? Okay, so into here, because I've broken that down for you, you don't need to. Obviously you can put these things together. So I can say in here equals index. So go look something up. So what is the array? Okay, so the array is still that course catalogue. I want you to go look in my data set of course catalogue. And I want you to look in a particular row number. Which row number? Well, I want you to match for me. Okay. So match the lookup value, match this. Okay. Where do I want you to look for that? Well, I want you to look for that in course ID. Is it going to just keep typing? Course ID, and I want that to be an exact match. Okay. Index says great. Well, now can you tell me a course number? Sorry, a column number. What column number do you want me to look in? So again, I'm going to use match. Oh, come on, there we go. What's the lookup value that I want you to look up? Well, I want you to go and look for the long title. So the column I'm after is the one that's called long title. Okay. What's the lookup array? So where is it that you want me to go looking for that? Well, I want you to look in the thing that I called, was it column titles I called it? If I just press F3 to open up my paste names, that was it, column titles, that's where I wanted you to look. Okay. And the match I want is an exact match, and I just close that bracket, and then I need to close my other bracket, so I've actually closed my whole index down as well, and I go enter. Yay! I love it when it actually works. So there you go. That is how we do an index and a match. So the advantage, as I say, of using index and matches, it's far more stable. These things do not have to be in the correct order, so I don't have to start with my lookup array with my course ID column. So I can look things up the other way around. I could look up the course ID using the long title without having to manipulate my data. If I add more columns in, that's okay. Naming my ranges means that it's nice and easy to see what's going on. So let's say that we want to also do these. We want default section size and estimated enrollment total. I can also do that. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to make sure that we make this A2 no, is that not going to, there we go, sorry, F4 to make that a what's the name for it, sorry, brain fart, sorry, to make that an absolute lookup value rather than a relative lookup value. Because I always want it to look this up here. I always want it to look up that A2 value, the course ID. Okay, so I'll just get enter on that. Now what I can do is I can just drag this formula across. Let's get that in another couple of places. And there you go. So my default section size is 500 and my estimated enrollment total is 700. So let's just have a quick look at that. Because I've said to it now, okay, go look in course cat. Match for me, go look for this, where you find this in a particular row, come back with that, and then in the column please go look for default section size in my columns titles, and in this one go look for estimated enrollment type. So there you go. It's that is index and match, or as we say, vLookup for grown-ups. Enjoy.